Hi Cancer, this is your general tarot reading for Cancer, Sun, Moon and Ascendant or Rising sign for the month of April. So my lovely Cancers, how are you feeling? How are you doing? I know that there has been some high tension in your home life, some high tension in your relationship, certainly, for those of you who are in a relationship, and some high tension just in general. It just feels like everybody seems to be coming out of the woodwork and challenging you in some way. You know, you just want to go home and rest, and then there's a drama after just annoyances happening for you where you can't seem to bloody have some peace and quiet, that lovely peace and quiet that you've been craving, you know, that go slow moment, just, but yet March and for a little bit in April, it's just that extra heightened tension. And you know what, to be honest, Cancer, this tension isn't always a bad thing, because what you might find here is that the energies are encouraging you to bare your claws a little bit, to stand up and be assertive, to stand up and be aggressive. Now, there are obviously better ways to do that than others, you know, but it's that theme of asserting yourself. If you feel that people are riding roughshod over you, if they're just doing something without taking your feelings into consideration, if they're behaving in ways that just seems too hasty, that they're thoughtless in some way, it just brings out the and you're saying, why are they challenging me so much? Why are they doing it? Well, in April, that will pass. It will get much, much better. But while it's happening, just take a lesson actually from it. Don't crumple underneath the pressure of it. You know, you don't want to be met with all these challenges and all this aggression and end up like a bunch of laundry in some teenager's corner of their room. You know, you want to rise above it, and you want to feel empowered by that energy rather than feeling destroyed by it and exhausted by it and drained by it. This is your power in there. I mean, you, as I said, you could crumple up into a corner, or you could literally stand up when somebody says, "Oh, Cancer, you better go in, there's a storm coming," and you look at them and say, "Bitch, please, storm? I am the storm." And that's really it. Who is the storm? Is it the situations around you? Is it the people who are testing you? Is it the energies that just seem to be never ending? Is that the storm? Or are you the storm? Which is it going to be, Cancer? Once you become the storm, and once you become the eye of the storm, in the eye of the storm is the great calm. All the wind is rushing around, lifting up houses, lifting up everything else. Let them suffer. You be in the eye of the storm, because, Cancer, you are the storm. So don't forget that when the energies get a bit too heavy, my love, okay? Now, what is going on here for the month of April? There's a lovely full moon happening for you in the 10th house. Now, the month begins with the Sun, Uranus, and Mercury is retrograde in the 10th house. So, it's a kind of a mixed feeling in your career. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's about having to go back and redo everything over and over again. So it's one step forward, two steps back, but then after that you take 3 steps forward. It's a bit, but it's a bit tense, but you're making progress, and you certainly will make more progress mid-April. It will definitely work out a little bit better. If you're having challenges with anybody in your office or in work, just wait it out. Wait it out, because mid-April it will definitely improve. What else? Yeah, the new moon is in the 10th house there around the 15th of April. So you will have more new ideas and more confidence about your career and about how to move forward. Perhaps even some of you, if you're waiting on a new job, or if you've been going to interviews or something like that, waiting on a new job, going to interviews, and the first cards come out. This is the Knight of Cups coming out there. Then the King of Swords, followed by the Seven of Swords, okay? High emotions around some arguments, yeah, but we spoke about that. We'll speak a little bit more in a moment. The new moon will certainly give you your card, Cancer. I love that. For your card reading, the Cancer card comes out. This is you, the Chariot, the mighty warrior who's also the one who is victorious in the end. You see, you do win in the end once you stay in the eye of the storm. Yeah, so the new moon, for those of you who are waiting on career news, maybe you did interviews, you're looking for a promotion of some sort, or you're looking to appear like the most qualified person or the best person for the job, that's where you get to hear something good. You know, it's a lovely energy there. It'll be great for you mid-month in April for your career. Mercury goes direct in the 10th house. Like I said, things will improve again. But if you've been writing emails, letters, sending off your resume, or just general documents and work, or things that might have been going missing or might have just been driving you crazy, trying to organize details in work and even travel plans and work, it does improve mid-April. The Sun then, around the 20th of April, moves into your 11th house, in there with Venus. So great things can happen. For those of you who are single, really go out with every invitation that your friends give you, because it might be in a circle of friends or a group of people that you could meet new love, if that's what you really want, Cancer. For those of you who are in a relationship, mingle more. Get out with your partner, with a bunch of friends. Maybe both of you, after all the high tension maybe that you've been experiencing, kind of let some of that tension go by going out and doing a group activity, you know, and just whatever that may be, that's your own choice. It might even just be going out and meeting a few friends for dinner or a drink or something like that. It doesn't have to be a sport or anything, but just get out in a group and take the heavy, intense focus off this one-on-one that you might have been experiencing up until then, you know. And for those of you who absolutely aren't interested in a relationship, that you had one, it was crap, you don't want to go back there again, I'm happy to be single. If that's your energy, you know what? It's a good idea towards the end of April, around the 20th of April, to really get plugged into social media. You know, you want to talk to people, you want to meet new people, you want to get online, get plugged into some group, even if it's just on the internet. Meet new friends, and you might have a very nice time, because Venus in there, it's not only love, but it's about pleasure, enjoying the company of a new circle of friends that you may just meet through social media if you don't want to step outside your door. What else is happening there? Then Venus moves around the 25th of April into the 12th house, the house of things that are lost, the deep psychological house, which is a beautiful energy because they work very well together. The Venus will, again, for those of you who are looking for love towards the end of the month, you might find that you meet somebody who is very intuitive, very psychic, and perhaps some of you may even be meeting somebody of great interest to you who has a great interest in the occult or in tarot cards or in something that is of a deeper esoteric wisdom. They'll fascinate you, this person, whoever they are, or group of people even perhaps. You could be just going to a psychic fair or going to a psychic reader at the end of the month just to see what the future holds. Let's see, a bunch of cards came out there. The Hanged Man. We got this one. Beautiful card. For those of you who are on my Facebook page, She Bear Tarot, you'll recognize this card. Very nice. The Seven of Cups. Two of Pentacles. Look at this. I'm talking about new love, new love, new love. Ace of Cups. And like I said, those who aren't interested in new love, new love, new love, it's a renewal or a rebirth or certainly a healing when it comes to matters of the heart. Healing when it comes to matter of the heart, yeah, I think it's needed. I do think it's needed, Cancer. The King of Pentacles, 2 more cards. I'm just going to keep talking about the energies. What else? What else? You're still dealing with relationship issues. I know that. That's going to be ongoing. But the good news is that a big change is coming in April, Cancer. You know the heavy crap when it came to your one-on-one relationships. Even for some of you, you might have found that you've been a long time in a love-hate relationship, that you can't actually get on with each other, but yet there might be a deep love for each other, but on a day-to-day basis you just drive each other nuts. And the planet Saturn and Pluto, they're going retrograde in April in the house of relationships. And what Saturn might do is he might give you the power and authority to really say, forget it. This is just not okay. Your behavior is absolutely not what I need in my life. It doesn't mean you have to kick everything up in the air and walk away. I don't mean that, but if you want to stay in a relationship, for those of you who do, Saturn might give you this real sense of having the upper hand, having the authority to make your demands clear, behave better, treat me better, do something better. If you say you're going to be home at a certain time, then you better come home at that time. If you say that you're going to do something, then do it. Don't let me down. And that's the power that you're going to have. It's the power of I will not tolerate anymore empty promises or bullshit and bad behavior anymore. Get your shit together, you'll be saying. And then Pluto also going retrograde in the house of relationships. He is just going to accelerate this process of you transforming how you are within relationships. And you know something? It might make you look at your partner, for those in a relationship, and say, we've got to change everything here, otherwise we have to call it a day. And we need to commit to changing a lot of things here, or else it's game over. Or the trickiness too here with the Pluto retrograde is that it might act like a big mirror, like this card, and you will suddenly stop looking at your partner's problems and start seeing, how am I part of the problem? You know? Is my behavior outdated? Am I carrying a bunch of shit from the past into my current relationship and ruining it? Am I sometimes acting like a diva? Am I sometimes acting like a prima donna? Am I sometimes making demands that no human really can expect to live up to? So whatever this is, it's like a mirror turning back on yourself, where you might be forced at some point to look at your behavior. And that sounds awful, but it shouldn't, because this is where the healing begins, as Chiron, the wounded healer, leaves the Pisces, and he goes in, right in there, to help you challenge this, to help you fix this. This card coming out here, justice. Justice. Some of you waiting on justice. Perhaps some of you are going through a divorce or a separation, and you are waiting on final documents or paperwork. Maybe that's what's been really bothering you with the Mercury retrograde. The papers haven't been coming through, or the documents or agreements haven't been signed. You're waiting on something. And just waiting on one last card here. But why would it be good for a mirror to be held back to you? Because you might get to see how you might in some small way be projecting your fears or the things that you absolutely don't want, out into the universe. And the universe then says, okay, this is what Cancer's focused on. They obviously seem to like this, so I'm going to give them some more of it. You know, it'll echo something back to you, which you may not like. So this is the energy, the first moment of healing, where you are a little bit challenged about how you behave in a relationship, which in turn offers you wonderful insight and wonderful healing, Cancer. This is where the healing really starts to kick in. This is the big one. This is where you get, after all the heavy shit in your relationships and not understanding, why do I always get into these crap relationships? Why does it always end up with me being desperately unhappy? To, what part do I have to play in all of this? I get it, I get it, I get it, I get it, I get it. And then you'll be able to heal. That's nice, Cancer, that is nice. On the 29th of April, there's a full moon going into your 5th house, which is a lovely end to the month. Excuse me, a lovely end to the month. That you are really engaged in having fun, having pleasure, rediscovering romance. And I think when you do stop looking at the people who are causing you pain, become that eye of the storm, and begin to look at your own reflection a bit, you'll say, I know how to move on and be happier in my relationships. I know how to move on and have more fun and joy and entertainment in my life and new romance, even if it is with an existing love, to rekindle that flame. Not bad, huh? Now, at the end of the month, I will say, because there might have been a lot of high tension in your home area, for those of you who have children, at the very end of April, if you find that they might have been playing up or acting up, some of that, even the older children, some of that might have been in response to the tension that has been in the household. So rather than give the kids a hard time for acting up, maybe at the very end of the month, you could go out together and do something fun, just to clear the air and to remind them that it's all joy, it's all fun, it's all happiness, you know? And that's how the month will end. I love that. Waiting on the last card here, Cancer. Let's go with the last card. If it doesn't come, I'll just choose one for you. Okay, I think I'll just choose one. And the last card, the 5 of Swords. Okay. So I'm going to organise the cards here, Cancer, and then we'll have a good long talk. How do you feel about that, Cancer? Because, look, I know, I've said this to the other signs too, the energies have been very, very challenging, and sometimes it feels like there's absolutely no end to shit after shit after shit after shit. But April is the first promise of the turnaround, but it might need a bit of a to turn around, but when it does, that's when you'll really feel it, because the wheel keeps turning, the energies do move, we don't get stuck in these places eternally, and so hopefully you'll feel it. And I always say, you've got to meet the universe halfway. You have a choice, like I said, to be in the storm and go or be the storm. And that's the test. That really is. That's why we're thrown these energies, to see how much we are in control. We're not supposed to be suffering under these energies. And if you are, then maybe it is a change of perspective that's needed, Cancer. Maybe it is that's required. And maybe when the mirror does turn and you look at it, you go, oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. No, I'm not going to be swirled around, you know, being thrown around in the cyclone. I'm going to stay in the middle, where it's safe and where I can continue reading my book and chilling out and watching my favourite TV show. Simple, you know. Okay, Cancer, finally, let's look down at the cards. Come on. Now, I hope my camera stand stays okay, because being Mercury retrograde, of course, this month my camera stand broke and it's held together with tape. So if it does collapse halfway through the reading, you'll know what's going on. The first card here, the Knight of Cups, beautiful card. The moment in April where you really begin to feel that through self-reflection, as we spoke about turning the mirror around, that you will feel more in control of your life. Now, anytime we see a knight, we recognize that a knight, like the shining cavalier, has a mission. And this knight's particular mission is to seek love in all aspects of his life. It's not necessarily just a romantic love, it is to see the world with love. And how do you begin seeing the world with love? By first offering it love. I mean, he's not on his horse walking around and saying, can somebody love me? Hello, anybody love me? He's actually on a mission, dressed up on his horse and holding the cup out for somebody to receive it. So that's really important for you to know through April, that love comes to you when you meet it halfway. When you are love, love will come. Now, here we see the cup of love, Cancerian water element, meeting an air element. Air element usually represented by Libra, by Aquarius and by Gemini. Now perhaps some of you could be looking towards somebody who is very airy, like those three signs, that you recognize them through their sharp wit, sharp humor. They'll be very intelligent. They will have a lot to say about a lot of subjects. Mostly they're curious, and usually they're very much in control of their life. Here we see also somebody who's very fair, that they don't get highly emotional about everything in their life. They'll sit back and say, well, what are the facts of the situation? What do we need to cut through? And you'll be very inspired by them, because after a long period of being up and down, up and down, up and down, to meet somebody like this who's very clear in their mind and in their thoughts and in their logic, you'll be highly attracted to them. So it's time for maybe you to be very inspired. If you're not looking for love, you can certainly be inspired by somebody like this. And if you are looking for love, I would look for those qualities in them. And I mean, it's the very first two cards happening here, so it could happen very soon for you, if you're looking for love, to find this person in April. They could be somebody who's maybe a little bit older than you too. Either way, they'll have good wisdom and good judgment. That's what you like most about them. And they're very fair. Now, I will say this too. For some of you, there could be a situation where there's a great sense of injustice. Something is just not right in some area of your life, and it's just not fair. And what you will find is that when you calm yourself and when you become more gentle and more willing to see both sides of the story, then the other person too, or the other situation that you've been in conflict with, will meet you halfway. You will never truly see eye to eye if you're in conflict with this person or with this situation, but you can certainly meet halfway and come to some rational, logical solution to something, you know. Now, I will also say this. For some of you Cancerians, with the energy that has been leaving in March, you might be very frustrated about offering your love over and over and over again to somebody who's probably been a bit standoffish, that they're not responding very lovingly, they're not responding to you with a sense of passion or fire, that they seem to love you, very much so, but kind of very unresponsively though, you know, and you'll want to offer them more love, to show them, if they can't open their hearts, and if that's really frustrating you, then perhaps it's time for you to really up your game and show them what it is to be loved. Show them how it is to be loved, and show them certainly what you expect from love. And if you're met with coldness, then you might want to have a very long conversation about whether you want to continue with that, Cancer. Because here's you then in April trying to come up with some plan or a strategy to remove yourself perhaps from somebody who's quite unemotional and detached, perhaps, you know, that you'll want to walk away from that. You'll want to walk away from somebody who doesn't take your feelings into account. You have tried and tried and tried, and you've had a plan. You've been trying to keep the peace. You've been trying to make things run well, run smoothly. And yet at the same time, there comes a point in April where you think, oh my God, I had it all wrong. I need to go back and, create another plan, make a new strategy, and see if I want to make a plan to get the hell out of my situation, or whether I need a new plan to proceed with the situation. Now, interestingly enough, this energy is beside Cancer, which is your sign. If some of you are dealing with another Cancer, then perhaps some of you are just walking away, just saying, this is not the type of Cancerian that I like, and you're walking away. However, what I think this is more likely, even though this is a Cancer card, this is actually Aries, the god who's usually represented by Aries. And that's energy that's happening for you at the moment. That's quite challenging. Somebody who tries to rule over you or gain victory over you in some way. You have a plan to challenge them, and then you go, oh, no, to hell with this. I need to go back to the drawing board, because maybe they're a little bit too strong. Maybe you haven't been very prepared to take somebody on or to take a challenge on, and you need to go back to the drawing board again. Now, here we have the Hanged Man, and this is a lovely card because, again, what we spoke about the turning point and the healing in your life, Cancer, in April, you'll suddenly be more prepared to make bigger sacrifices for your future, for your happiness, for your relationships. And you see, because it's beside this card, this is everything we've been talking about, Cancer. You will suddenly realize that in order to proceed in every aspect of your life, you need to give something up. You need to make some sacrifices. You need to maybe let go of some hang-ups that you might have brought with you from your family, because this tree is actually the lineage tree, the family tree, and he gains wisdom from his ancestors. And he also recognizes through his family tree where he may be behaving in a way that he's just carrying old hurts forward, okay? And in doing that, he realizes that he's been projecting some of those old hurts out in the universe, and the universe in turn has been reflecting that back to him. So if we think angry thoughts, or if we think, oh, I just always attract this type of lover, I always attract an asshole, I always attract a bitch, I always attract a gold digger, I always attract a loser, then the universe kind of tends to echo that back to you. But once you see what's happening, you make the sacrifice to clear up all those old wounds about how you proceed in relationships. You step out of the shadow, you're still in the dark, but you're only coming out into the light. And you realize that very often what you're putting out there, your dreams and desires and wishes for relationships, for your career, for everything in your life, is being mirrored back to you. So the penny will finally drop, Cancer, that it's now time to only project out into the universe the qualities that you want echoed back to you. If you want a love who loves you deeply and passionately and who just gives you true love, then you must go out into the world projecting that, being that, and in turn the universe will echo that back to you. Okay? Quite deep, Cancer. Excuse me. And here we have a sense of balancing. Now, for some of you, you might feel that you're trying to balance your love life so much. It's a bit up, it's a bit down, it's a bit well. But in April, you will see the healing that's coming, and finally you'll be able to leave the traumas, see the rough seas behind them, and put your first foot on the ground in order to gain a sense of equilibrium and balance here. And you'll have fun doing that. You'll have joy, because it's like a new toy that you get to play with. After this realization, you'll say, I'm going to have fun with this. I'm going to start manifesting a millionaire in my life. No, not a millionaire, a billionaire. I'm going to start manifesting somebody with a great sense of humor. I'm going to start, and you'll start toying with this idea. But ultimately, when you do look in the mirror because of the Pluto retrograde, you'll see that a lot of things, perhaps even behavioral loops in your life, may have to be recalibrated and rebalanced. Financially, certainly your money in April will be a bit of a juggling act, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's something that isn't negative but rather positive, that yes, you're juggling money, you're putting a bit here, a bit there, a bit but it's something again that you can play with. It doesn't feel like a struggle, it feels like more something that you're able to play with. And here's the Ace of Cups, the promise of healing. Like we said, as Chiron moves into Aries, it's a bit of a challenge, this healing initially, but it does come, and there's a great sense of relief when that kicks in for you, Cancer. And for those of you who are expecting new love, certainly, through a group of friends perhaps, or through somebody who is deeply psychic and in tune with you. And I wouldn't really be surprised if you sense that there's a very deep connection, perhaps even a soulmate connection, or you've met them in a past life, particularly with this card, past life stuff, that you could be dealing with a lot of that. I think I said this to you before, Cancer, did I? That some of you might have been very interested in past life regression. I don't know if some of you have done that or really explored your ancestry, but there's some great healing that will come from that. Love and the rebirth of love is absolutely brought in by the gods. The hand of God said, look, it's time now, Cancer. You've gone through the shit. Now it's time to heal. And the great balancing will come from that. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous energy. For some of you Cancers who might have been feeling under the weather or who might have been struggling with your health, you might receive some new insight in how to proceed with perhaps a new treatment or a new regime or a new way of life that might actually encourage a better way of healing or help you in some way. And perhaps with the new moon on April 15th, some authority figure, perhaps a hospital or a clinic of some sort, might contact you to ask you if you're interested in something new that might help. I'm not saying it will completely heal. I would never overpromise something like that to you, Cancer, but it's something that might help. So it's welcome news for those of you who are looking for physical healing. But look here, as the month continues in April, you will feel a little bit heartbroken. Now, I'll interpret this in a few ways. Some of you might have really had absolutely enough in your relationship and faced it, looked in the mirror and said, oh, yeah, sure, I recognize my bad qualities now or what I'm bringing to the table, but I also recognize theirs, and I'm not entirely satisfied with what I see. And you may, at the end of April, really make that big decision to become free. And it might hurt you a lot because, Cancer, you're actually a very independent person. You can do really anything on your own. You don't really need a partner. But you like to have love in your life, and particularly even if it's love that's not working out very well, you're one of those people who are able to feel empathy for the other side, and you kind of say, oh God, maybe it's not a good time to split up because work life is too hard for them. Maybe it's not a good time to split up because they might be too hurt. Maybe and you make excuses for it. But April is giving you this energy where you're not really prepared to make excuses for your partner's bad behavior anymore, and tough decisions might have to come. And beside that, even though this is a little bit painful and a little bit tough, and you may feel like that something is too big There's too much in the way of you and your relationships. And I'm saying relationships, but it could also be work situations or something else, that you look at the situation or the person and you say, there's really just too much of a gap between us. There's too much of a wedge between us. I think it's time for us to either really devote time to fixing it fully and completely, or else walking away. But yet, even though there is this heartbreak, beside it is a huge sense of being a master. He is the master of his spirit. Pentacles is an earth card and it represents your spiritual journey. And by the time we arrive at the king, it means that you have mastered something. And I do believe for you, Cancer, that you will in April finally understand how to react to all the bullshit that's been happening in your relationships. And you'll feel more in control and you'll feel more relaxed. And certainly financially, there's something very, very pleasant happening for you by the time April ends. You're feeling that even though love might be gone bad or a situation might be gone bad, that you haven't suffered really that much in your spirit, and possibly not even that much in your pocket, that financially you're okay. Is it for those of you who are afraid to leave a relationship because you fear financial loss, or you fear, oh God, I'd have to sell the house and I'd have to try and figure out how to be, savvy financially when it's just me on my own? You'll figure that out. You get more confidence with that, Cancer. I don't want to be always talking to you about relationships gone bad that you walk away. I know some of you are in very committed relationships and you don't want to end it. But you certainly, Cancer, certainly, you want to fix elements that are making you feel like this. And if your partner is grown distant from you, or indeed you from your partner, maybe they're devoting too much time to work, or maybe it's you devoting too much time to your children or your other aspects of your life, turn it around, baby, and come back and devote some lovely energy to your relationships, Just move this up here. I need the camera stand to be a bit steadier. Now, like I said, for those of you who are waiting on some judgment, some documentation, some paperwork, some legal thing, when April comes, you'll hear news, but because this card is beside it, I will give you a warning. Stay calm, because even though you'll hear good news in your favor, it might trigger an angry response in you or the other person. So at that very point in time, I need you to remember the eye of the storm, eye of the storm, eye of the storm. Remember, you are the storm. And in all things, if there is a situation where you're trying to seek justice, where you're trying to seek balance with some situation or some person, try to remain fair, try to keep the moral high ground, try not to go in with a fight, but end up with a small victory in what you're fighting, but really come out with a major loss in your major loss of face. You don't want to fight at all costs. You don't want to lose your dignity. That's what it's saying here. Remember the eye of the storm. If you are fighting with somebody and you're trying to fix something that's unjust, or indeed if some of you are going through some paperwork for a divorce or a separation or something like that, don't lose your dignity, baby, because these energies pass. But what won't pass is the memory of how you might have behaved badly in this situation. So, all in all, it's a wonderful, wonderful healing month. Finally, Cancer, finally. And go with it. And I keep saying this. You have a choice to be in the storm, or sit comfortably with your glass of wine and a good book in the eye of the storm, watching everybody just swirl round and round and round. Your choice, baby. Have a wonderful, wonderful April, Cancer. I know you will, despite the challenges. And if this is the first time seeing my videos, then please do subscribe, You can like and share and follow me on Facebook, because I did a thing here on this very card with the new moon that happened in Pisces there. It was all about describing this very card. So I do put extra little bits of content there that might help understand the energies a bit better. And I'm on Twitter and Instagram too. But I just want you to keep coming back here anyway every month. So that's good enough for me. In the meantime, Cancer, don't forget, I love you so, so, so much. And I'm going to give you a big kiss. Mwah. And for those of you who are in a legal battle, I'm going to give you an extra kiss for luck. Mwah. I love you so much, Cancer. See you next time.